All right, so let's talk about these narrative analyses. So right now you have access to your narrative assignments. So if you want to see your papers, you can go back into the assignments folder, click on that. You know that when you click on your grade, you can see whatever comments I've had on the paper. Also, and this is important, even if you're not interested in my comments, scroll to the bottom of that screen. On that screen, what you will see is the attachment of another file. The attachment is of another classmate's narrative. This is the piece that you're going to need for the second part of this assignment. You remember there are two parts. There's the narrative and there's the narrative analysis. You've done the narrative. Now it's time for the narrative analysis, except you are not going to analyze your own narrative. You're going to analyze someone else's narrative. So again, click on your grade, get to my comments on your paper, scroll to the bottom, and you will see an attachment of another person's narrative. Now, when you open up that file, you'll see their narrative, probably very similar to yours. Maybe the story is different, but it's the same assignment. If you scroll to the bottom, though, you will see about half a page or so of writing in red. This is the piece that I've added. This is why it was important for your narrative assignments to stop on the day that the child was born, because then I was going to add in what has happened in this child's life after birth. So that's why it was important that your narrative stopped at birth. So what you're going to find written in red is what has happened in that child's life since birth. And at the end of that red portion, I have assigned you an age. This is for the narrative analysis assignment. So you say this child was born, your classmate describes their entire life circumstance. I come on and the piece in red describes what has happened to this person since their birth. And then it says, describe this person at age 12, describe this person at age 25 or 30 or whatever the age is. So now your task is to do just that, to describe where you think this person is going to be based upon what you know just about this person and what you know about this age. So this is a more difficult paper. The first one, I was not asking you to include course material. Here you should be. That is an important piece. Here you should be including course material. You don't want to take a guess of where you think just on your emotion where this person's going to be at age 18. I want you to make valid explanations for where this person will be at age 18. So the way to approach this is to think about it this way. Let's say the assigned age is describe this person at age 18. I want you to think about this person's specific life circumstances. Okay? I want you to think about everything that you know about age 18. Everything about them cognitively, everything about them emotionally or personality-wise or whatever the course material is. Think about what we've been talking about at that specific age. So then if you know all of this about the general age of 18, what does this look like on that specific person in the narrative, right? So you want to apply it there. So for example, adolescents are dealing with identity issues. Think about your person in the context of identity. What's going on in their specific lives that would inform the identity development process? There are a couple of examples that correspond to the narrative. So there were narrative samples, and now the corresponding narrative analysis examples are in the same folder. So if you want to take a look at the initial narrative and then to look at how someone analyzed it. In terms of structure, that's totally up to you. Both of the narrative examples take a little bit of a different spin. You'll see that one is really kind of segmented in that they have categories. This is what the person is like physically, emotionally, personality-wise. So they have all these different categories, and that's how they've approached it. The other one is not quite so regimented. It's more free-flowing. You would almost make the mistake of thinking that this is another narrative. That is key. This is not another narrative. Please do not write another story. Right? You will get a very low score. Do not write another story. I don't want another narrative. What I want you to do is analyze the narrative in front of you. Think about it in the context of the course material. So if you are not using course material in writing this paper, you are not doing it correctly. So that is extremely important. This is not another narrative. The length is about the same. So it should come out to around 3 pages or so, maybe a little bit more, because this is, a more involved paper. Okay. And in terms of how I'm going to grade it, it's not going to be a right or wrong type of deal. I'm never going to say, well, this person will never be this at 18. But It's going to be how well you can support it with the course material. If you think this person is going to be in this position at age 18, then you should be able to back it up with what we know about developmental psychology, that entire life journey. Another thing to be careful of as you're working on this, so I don't want another story. Also, one of the dangers is some people, let's say I said 18 as the target age, don't go through their whole lifespan. That is, you spend most of your, then when she was 12, and then when she was 13, and then when she was 15, and then I get a paragraph like this of age 18, and then the paper is over. No, the paper should be about age 18, not about all the years that lead up to age 18. I want you to focus on that specific journey. So if you feel the need to mention something that maybe happened at 12 or something like that, you can reference that. But the paper should stay really living in the moment of age 18. Also, do not change what is there in red. You don't get to undo something. If I fired somebody, don't give them their job back because it's easier for you to deal with. You have to operate with what is there. That's critical too. I will ding you if you change the course of this person's life to suit what you want rather than what I have put there. So take it as what has been described. That's important. Okay? So again, what we want is we want the paper to not be another narrative. We want the vast majority of the paper to stay in the moment, right? And we don't want you changing the basis of the assignment. So those are all of are kind of the no-nos. But really take a look at the sample papers. Shoot me an email if you have additional questions. And again, this is a paper that's being done in pairs. So you're working with your partner again, the same partner. Both of you should have access to the paper now. All you have to do again is to click on your grade, and you should have access to the paper again. So shoot me an email if you have questions, and that's it. Bye.